Common problem that majority of my students tell me that they face is being confident in an interview. So they end up getting nervous, they end up getting anxious in the interview, and they end up messing up things that they would normally not mess up in a normal setting. So how can you be more confident in an interview? How can you not mess up things by being nervous or by being anxious? So we're going to talk about that in today's video. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can be more confident in an interview, how you can articulate yourself better in front of the interviewer, because being confident is a very important thing. Even if you're lagging behind on the other stuff, the interviewer might still consider you if you are extremely confident and if you believe in yourself the right amount. You shouldn't overdo it either, but you should have the right level of confidence in yourself. So let's see how we can do that. So the first thing is the language of the interview. So a lot of people don't feel confident enough talking in English or articulating their thoughts in English, which causes a problem and it causes them nervousness, anxiety, etc. And that is normal because for majority of the people, for most of us, English is not our first language. But English is the language which is used in interviews and it is used in the company's work. So you should be well versed in it. So how can you be fluent in English? So I'll give you two methods or two phases in which you can be fluent enough in English. So the phase one is the learning phase. Now, all of us know English because you're watching this video, and in majority of the schools English medium is there. The language spoken is English, but yet people are not confident. So I want you to go back to the base. Okay, I want you to go back to the base or the basics of English. So learn grammar. You can either buy a book from a bookstore or you can take an online course or learn grammar correctly and properly. And there's no shame in going back to basics, but revise all the concepts that were there in grammar, because I believe that fundamentals are very important and basics are very important no matter what the field is. Now, after you've done that, I want you to be accommodated to hearing English. So for that, you can listen to some podcasts. Like my own personal favorite is the Joe Rogan podcast. If you're interested in that, you can check that out. And listening to podcasts will really help you in bridging that gap of translation. So a lot of times you have to put efforts into translating English to your native language while thinking. But I want you to think in the language itself. So while listening to English being spoken by other people, that gap of translation, that effort of translation is reduced or removed, and you're able to articulate your thoughts in English. Now, once you have done that, once you've covered the basics, once you've listened to a few podcasts or watched some shows, whatever it is, or read a book, whatever it is, now is the time to practice speaking in English. So I want you to do one thing, which is the same thing that I'm doing right now. Make a video. So open up your webcam or set up a camera and choose any random topic, anything. For example, data such as an algorithm or computer science or web development or your favorite movie, whatever it is, just speak for 3 to 4 minutes in front of the camera without stopping in English. Okay? And this is something which will really help you. Like, I started to make videos way back before I even published them on YouTube, and that really helped me being confident in speaking English. And even if you don't publish the video, you can just record a lot of videos. So make these videos, and before you know it, you'll be fluent and you'll be confident in speaking English. So learn the basics, listen to other people speak, either a podcast or read a book or watch a movie, whatever it is, and then practice speaking English. Once you've done all that, you will be fluent in speaking English. It might take you some time, but you'll be very fluent in speaking English. Now, the second part is having the right clothing. Now, a lot of times, because the interview might be online, people don't care about what they look like. People don't, focus on their appearance. They just wear a shirt, they just, wear a t-shirt and they just sit down. I don't want you to do that. Confidence also comes from inside, and how you look really matters. So even if it's an online interview, I want you to wear the right clothes. I want you to wear a pant. Don't sit down in shorts just because your lower half is not visible. Wear proper pants, wear a proper shirt, like clean your face and sit properly in what makes you feel confident. It's basically dress to impress. That's what they say, right? Dress to impress. So have the right clothing, because clothing really improves upon your state of mind and your confidence. So dress properly, wear a formal shirt, wear a formal pant, and then sit in front of the interview with your back straight up. Okay, don't slouch like this, or don't turn your head like this. Just sit up straight, feel confident in what you're wearing, down below, up here, and face the camera in the interview. Appearance matters a lot in terms of confidence and in terms of impressing the interviewer as well. Now, tip number 3 is prepare notes beforehand. So a lot of questions might be there in the interview which you're sure it will be there. For example, no matter what the interview is, even if it's a technical interview, the interviewer is sure to answer, tell us about yourself. That is a question that pretty much every interviewer asks, right? So I want you to prepare something for it beforehand. You can prepare like keynotes or bullet points or something like your achievements or things you have done. Prepare them beforehand so that you can revise them at the end and so that you get practice on speaking them. So some questions that are there, prepare your answers beforehand. If not the complete answer, at least prepare some bullet points. Because your memory is limited, right? You will not remember everything that you've done in the past, but it matters to the interviewer what your achievements are or the good things that you've done in the past. So everything that is noteworthy, put it down into notes, make notes, and you can revise them before the interview. Prepare your answers beforehand is basically what I'm saying for the most asked question. Now, tip number 4 is about the mindset. So this is something a lot of people don't talk about. What is the mindset that you should go in for the interview? So a lot of people go with a do or die attitude. They feel like I have to crack this or there's nothing else for me. And they go with that attitude. And that might work for some people, but for most of the people, if you go with that attitude, then it will put immense pressure on your mind, and again it might cause you to go blank at certain areas, which is like not a good thing, right? So you need to be calm. How will you be calm if you have such a mind like I have to crack this, I have to crack this? You should not think like that. The one thing that you can focus on is your performance. You should not be thinking about whether you fail or succeed. Don't even think about the positive case scenario or the negative case scenario. The goal here is to showcase your skills to the interviewer, showcase yourself in a positive light to the interviewer so that he is impressed by you. That is the goal here. Don't think that you have to succeed or failure is not an option. Like I said, that does work for some people, but for most of the people, especially for people who are appearing for the interview for the first time, that will cause immense pressure on them and they might end up screwing something later in the interview. So the thing is that you should go with the confidence that you've prepared well enough, you've practiced well enough, and you'll do everything in your capabilities to impress the interviewer. And always remember that this is not the final interview that you'll be giving. This is not like the last interview and you have to crack this no matter what. You can give a lot of interviews, you have lots of opportunities. This is in no way your final interview. Like I said, you have a lot of opportunities which are going to come to your way. Okay, now the fifth part and the most important part probably is practicing, right? So all of the points mentioned before will be useless if you have not practiced your art or your craft well enough, right? So whatever is the interview for, whether it's a technical interview, whether it's a HR interview, practice the things that are there. Now I've already made a video about last minute interview tips. You can go and watch that video. It's a very helpful video about how to revise, and revision is something which is very important so that you're able to revise the critical concepts just before going to the interview. So practice your subjects well enough, practice your material well enough, revise them well enough, and after you've revised them, after you've practiced them, then a great thing is to give mock interviews. Now I've made an entire video about how you can give mock interviews with AI, where you have artificial intelligence taking in your answer, taking in your like verbal answers, and then grading you, like how confident you are, how nervous you are, and all that. You can give mock interviews, you can listen to your answers, and you can have AI grade your answers. So like I said, I've already made a video, you can go check it out, the link will be in the description. It's a great video about giving mock interviews with AI. So you don't even need another person to give an mock interview with, you can just give it using the technology of AI. So that's pretty much it. If you have any other things that you want to ask me, put it down in the comments, and let's see each other again in the next video.